great teacher in the classroom can provide a glorious learning experience. A mediocre teacher is more than merely bad, it is a tragedy. Similarly, online learning can be equally abysmal or fantastic. The real challenge is facilitating a great learning community in any venue. We're in danger of focusing on technology itself rather than on pedagogy or andragogy underpinning the learning tool we are providing. Online learning is an innovation which is being offered to an increasing number of students. For learners to be utilising the internet to learn, it is important for the educator to understand the nature of students that are taking these classes in order to better prepare for a variety of learning styles that will come together into the course settings. The issue for educators is how to harness effectively the benefits of the internet in order to provide students with a fulfilling educational experience. Although online learning can enable new forms of teaching and learning to take place, they cannot ensure that effective and appropriate learning outcomes are achieved. It's not technologies, but educational purposes and pedagogy that must provide the lead. The medium itself is not the most important factor in any educational program. What really matters is how it's creatively exploited and constructively aligned. The educational benefits that students perceive as gains from using online learning are more significant than the intrinsic characteristics of any particular medium. Understanding students' motivations for utilising online learning format can help the instructor better prepare for the courses to be taught online. According to a study by Dennis, 2003, there was no apparent difference in learning outcomes between the face-to-face group and the online learning group. This study was done with students currently studying as face-to-face group or as an online learning group, and not with randomly selected students. Research compared students' learning styles in an online distance learning class with an equivalent online campus class. The authors concluded students enrolled in an online class are likely to have different learning styles than equivalent on-campus students. Online students were more independent and self-directed in their styles as learners. The on-campus students seemed to match the profile of a traditional student who is willing to work in class providing they can obtain rewards for working with others and for meeting teacher expectations. For example, dependent learners might view the isolation and need for self-reliance in a distance education environment with some apprehension. Online students appeared to be driven more by intrinsic motives and clearly not by the reward structure of the class. Many educators still have difficulty shedding the protective cloak of their traditional instructive training. Teachers often teach as they've been taught. Since the instructivist learning theory has prevailed for quite some time, many teachers have used a teacher-centered approach in the classroom. Between 70 and 90% of teachers still use the traditional lecture as their instructional strategy of choice. This may explain why traditional students exhibit strongly dependent or passive learning styles. Given the growing expectations of online technology as a tool for providing distance students with a flexible learning environment, a survey data was used from selected courses indicating that the effect of online learning can vary across individual courses, largely affected by the way in which online learning is integrated into the course as a whole. For example, when online learning was supplementary, a direct relationship was found between the frequency of student visits to the course site and their perceptions of learning outcomes. In compulsory online learning courses, however, the effect of students' involvement in the online learning appeared to be rather indirect, mediated by their sense of institutional presence. In addition, the analysis suggests that it is critical for distance students to have a sense of belonging or connectedness with the institution as a whole. Students who feel disconnected from their teacher will spend less time engaged in online learning. Online learners need to be self-directed and self-disciplined. Online engagement of learners according to age and gender is an area that needs to be explored further. Much of the literature has been conflicting concerning this issue. Research provides that females had negative attitudes towards computing and technology in the past. Current research indicates that females are now dominating the distance learning market, and recent researchers believe that males and females will soon be equal in sharing the advantage of this mode of education. Many researchers found in their studies that the majority of participants were female. Research tends to favour the notion that older learners prefer distance learning, and this idea was supported by this study. Older learners must juggle obligations such as family and jobs. Classes that provide flexibility in juggling schedules will allow more students an opportunity to receive an education. Swinburne has embraced flexible learning and online learning. We should consider that the effect of online learning on learning outcomes is largely determined by the learning style and particular characteristics of the students and of their age, gender, etc. It should be acknowledged, therefore, that online learning is not necessarily a suitable tool for all students. It is also important for Swinburne to ensure that teachers are skilled at designing the course to have a focus on educational benefits rather than on technology. Swinburne teachers should promote interaction with students and a sense of belonging with the TAFE University to ensure positive outcomes for online delivery.